not his best career start, obviously, but one of the more impressive veteran-laden kind of starts we've seen out of Will Warren in his career.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsulias. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. With me, as usual, my co-host, Brian McKeon. Brian hosted a show on WFAN, if you're wondering about his credentials and why we're hosting the show. And I wrote about the Yankees for nearly 10 years on the internet, and ESPN, Baseball Prospectus, the Hardball Times, like I was all over the place. And now we do this show. How you doing?
Nothing mean or critical has ever been said on the internet or on the radio. So through my many shows at WFAN, I never heard a bad thing about my quality of show. So I guess this show is great, right?
The show is awesome.
All of our insiders and listeners would I'm sure agree.
Yes. Before we get started, don't forget, subscribe to Locked On Yankees on whichever podcasting platform you prefer. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Like our videos. Hit the bell so you're notified whenever our videos go live. And we have a new TikTok page. If you're there, follow us, if you can, at LockedOn_Yankees. On today's show, we'll preview the pitching matchups in the Yankees Reds series, which begins tonight in Cincinnati. We need to have a discussion about all the noise you're hearing at Yankee Stadium. But first, this was going to be a very different recap if the bottom of the eighth didn't happen on Sunday afternoon.
The game was going terrible. They weren't hitting. They weren't coming through clutch. Someone we should call out is Aaron Judge with an awful at-bat in the bottom of the seventh where he had every opportunity to come through. A rare occasion to criticize Aaron Judge, but definitely worthy of criticism for the way that at-bat was handled. But overall, my takeaway out of this game, Stacey, is how effective Will Warren was in this game. To give up 2 runs early in the first inning and really struggle. You have the hit by pitch, the walk, wasn't looking good, really was struggling through, and then settles down and gets through the game and just pitches unbelievable. You see starts like that out of a guy like Carlos Rodon. He's been routine for it with the Yankees, right? Early runs in the first inning, and then boom, the rest of the game, he's lights out. This is what veteran pitchers do, and to get a start like that out of Will Warren, who's a rookie in this league, a young guy who has really impressed with the strikeouts so far, but the control early on in his career was a problem. This game was an unbelievable start. Not his best career start, obviously, but one of the more impressive veteran-laden kind of starts we've seen out of Will Warren in his career.
Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Will Warren, and today was one of those reasons, because that could have gone to hell in a handbasket, as they say, and it could have been very easy for him to let the game get out of hand early, and he didn't. 2 quick runs for the Orioles. They were obviously first pitch swinging. Mm-hmm. That was their scouting report, and I just was very impressed with his mental toughness, because Will Warren of last year could have let this go to where it was a disaster and it could have been 6-0 in the first inning. So I was very happy with that result. I was jokingly thinking that, oh, well, maybe they're not used to an 11:30 start in the morning and maybe he wasn't quite ready and he settled down. But again, the Orioles were swinging aggressively against him.
Yeah, no, that was that was clearly their scouting report and game plan coming into this game. 2 things that I noticed throughout this game that bothered me. The Aaron Judge at bat in the 7th inning. You've mentioned this briefly on the show before. I really can't stand the Yankees game plan in some of these at-bats where they're not being more aggressive. They come into these games and it seems like the game plan against any pitcher is take a first pitch strike. Sometimes you're better off, when especially a guy like Aaron Judge, when there's 2 guys on, the pitcher wants to try and get ahead of him in the count. So jump on a first pitch. He got a terrific first pitch of a strike to hit, doesn't swing at that, takes the first strike. Then the pitcher's clearly very erratic throughout the at-bat. Well, it wasn't a first pitch strike. The first 2 pitches were balls. Then he got the strike, which was right down the middle of the plate. Just took it right down the middle of the plate. Swings and misses another pitch. And then Stacey, the strike 3 on a 3-2 count. Now, you understand the pitcher's likely going to probably put Aaron Judge on with a base open. I understand that. But it's a sinker, slider, 88 mile. It's a sinker changeup kind of pitch, 88 miles an hour down the heart of the plate. and Aaron Judge is just whiffing and swinging at it. It was a really bad at-bat. That is also coupled with Jazz Chisholm Jr., and this has been a problem all year with Jazz. Stacey, every at-bat, Jazz Chisholm Jr. is swinging out of his shoes. And I do think Aaron Judge got a little out of his head in that 7th inning at-bat, which is unlike Aaron Judge. But he was trying to hit a 3-run home run there with runners on 1st and 3rd to take the lead, instead of just putting the ball in play and tying the game at 2. Mm-hmm. That was what Judge was trying to do there, because he saw the off-speed pitch, lined it up, and then just whiffed at it completely because his eyes lit up. That's not like Aaron Judge, but Jazz Chisholm Jr. all year has been like that. It feels like every at-bat when Jazz comes up, he's trying to hit a 9,000-foot home run. Every single time he's not, and even the base hit that he had in the 8th inning, which cleared the bases, it was a triple in the gap, and it was a great hit, won the Yankees the game. He was trying to hit a home run there. He made great contact. The ball wasn't caught. He got lucky in that sense, and it was a great hit. I'm not taking that away from him, but sometimes less is more, especially in baseball. You could put a line drive in the gap, and it would have accomplished the exact same thing. And you saw Jazz earlier in the game was up with 2 runners on, because the Yankees were atrocious in this game, runners in scoring position. And again, Stacey, swinging for the fences on the whole at bat. That kind of has to stop, and it leads to a lack of focus. It really does. Yeah.
There's also the bad base running, certain approaches at the plate, like you said. And I just, I don't want to be too negative, because they took 2 out of 3, which is great, because they helped their record against AL East teams, and they beat a team they should beat. Baltimore's picked it up in June. I'll give them that, but they were atrocious in April and May.
Yeah.
And there's no excuse to lose to Baltimore in a series at home. So I'm glad the Yankees came back in this game, and I don't want to be too negative, but there are aspects of this game and of this team and what they do that just...
Well, even I'd love to bring this up too, because to your point on lack of base running and focus, because we've always said the lack of the bad these guys know how to run the bases. Okay, they're not bad base. They know how to run the bases. They've been playing baseball their whole lives. Bad base running is a sheer reflection on just not being focused in games and not realizing what's going on. The Aaron Judge at bat in the 7th inning when Austin Wells is on second base on a 2-2 count, they throw a ball in the dirt to try and get Aaron Judge out of the count, and the catcher blocks it. It bounces in front of the plate. And Austin Wells tries to take third. Now he's safe at third base. I'll give him that. If he makes the last out at third base on a 3-2 count to Aaron Judge, he's completely ridiculed with 2 guys on in that scenario. That can't happen, Stacey. And, it doesn't get slated as bad base running because he's safe at third base and the Yankees won the game. So who cares? But that is a bad base running decision. Let's not, he was safe by a fraction of a foot. It just, those are the kind of things. And again, it doesn't get noticed because he's safe and everything like that. But Stacey, if he gets thrown out there going into a 3-2 count against Aaron Judge with Aaron Judge at the plate with 2 outs, I mean, there's no excuse for that. No,
right. That would be
terrible base running.
Yeah. That would be something that people will be talking about for years.
Yeah. Let's get to the other point. So Friday, they have a bad loss. It feels like the June swoon is alive and well because they don't play well at all. It didn't feel well. Let's go to Saturday. They win the game Saturday. Clark Schmidt, unbelievable in the start. But I want to get your take on the decision that's made because they played well, got the win, great game. But you've been watching baseball longer than me, and I have an old soul when it comes to watching baseball. Clark Schmidt is amazing throughout the entire game. Is throwing a no-hitter through the 7th inning with 103 pitches, and Aaron Boone decides to pull him from the game. Your thoughts?
It's just how baseball is now. I don't agree with it because if this was 20 years ago, they would have kept him in and let him pitch 125 pitches. But it's 2025 now, and this is just the way it is. They don't want these guys throwing too much on their arms, and it stinks that he was already up at 103 at that point because, if he had taken him out with like 90 pitches, it should have been more of an uproar, but I can kind of understand it with 103. I don't like it, but I kind of understand it.
I'm actually not going to blame Boone for this because if he keeps him in and he gets hurt, he gets ridiculed for that. It's a lose-lose situation kind of. Also, the Yankee front office wants nothing to do with Clark Schmidt going in with 103 pitches. They don't care about the no-hitter. Yeah. And Girardi made a great point on the broadcast where he was like, I'm managing this team for 162 games, not for one historical moment. So I get it.
Yeah.
The old soul in me, it does aggravate, though, because seeing Clark Schmidt throw a no-hitter would have been really cool to see, and he had no-hit type stuff. He was that good. The first inning is what hurt him. Threw 25 pitches in the first inning. The rest of the game, he cruised and never had more than 20 in an inning, so that does hurt. How ironic, though, that they bring in Brubaker because the Yankees have a 9-0 lead, and Gary Sanchez is the one that breaks it up. I mean, how apropos.
And it's the only hit of the game for them, but the other part of the game, they win 9-0. The offense looked great. And I loved how it was, there were different contributors. They did it in different ways.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you want to see from these guys.
Yeah. Last point to the weekend that I think a lot of people had a problem with too that was out there. So Anthony Volpe plays terrific on Saturday. Great. Has 3 hits, 2 home runs. Unbelievable performance. Was it 2? No, it was just 1 home run. 3 hits, though. Unbelievable performance. Sunday, he sits. And it's a scheduled sit day. And I know they schedule these guys to get rest whenever they get rest. I get it. I understand. But Stacey, you have to somewhat believe in hot. And especially a player like Volpe who hasn't played well over the last 2 weeks and then gets a 3-hit game. This is off of an 0 for 25 streak that Volpe was on. So he's in the midst of going 0 for 25. He wasn't necessarily playing well. And then all of a sudden he gets a 3-hit game. How do you not play him on Sunday?
Right.
How do you not give him the playtime on Sunday? It doesn't make any sense. This is coming off. If you go on YouTube and search Clint Frazier's name, the former Yankee player, he went on an interview on a baseball podcast where they asked him about it.
Oh,
about the analytics in the Yankees. Yeah. They asked him about the analytics of the Yankees, and he basically said there's too many rocket scientists in the front office, and they don't believe in hot. They believe you are what you are, and the numbers average themselves out. And maybe they do at the end of the day, but hot is a thing. It is. I don't care what these geniuses say. It is a thing, okay? And ask any former player out there. They'll all tell you it's a thing, because Alex Rodriguez is the perfect example that would tell you when you're hot, the ball looks like a beach ball. And when you're cold, it doesn't. So I don't know how you feel about this, but I hate the fact that Volpe sat on Sunday. He could have went 0 for 5 on Sunday, and I would have still hated it.
Yeah, I didn't like it either, because I just didn't like that he meaning Boone, said on Friday he's going to get a day off this weekend. I was just assuming it was going to be Saturday because he was in such a rut that I figured, okay, Saturday will be the day off. They'll get him going again Sunday. Yeah. So then Saturday happens. He goes 3 for 4 with the home run. And I'm thinking, well, they're surely not going to sit him now because this is the start of something. And then they sat him.
Just any sense of momentum he was developing where he felt good at the plate was axed on Sunday because you didn't let him get a swing in. I don't get it. And when they do scheduled rest days, by the way, just for you guys to know, it's a rest day. You don't come in and swing, take BP, none of that. They're basically in sweatpants. So they were never planning on putting Volpe in this game. It's such a problem. Yeah. Such a problem.
Yeah. But overall, successful weekend, 2 out of 3. Hopefully they will carry that momentum into Cincinnati, which we'll preview in segment 3. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on our videos, hit the notification so you know when our videos go up. You can also join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The link is in the description. You'll get texts from us. You can text us questions, comments, reactions to trades and signings. We send out lineups during the season, roster moves, and breaking news so you don't have to check social media. There's a 14-day free trial. And shout out to poor Shalid, Insider Shalid, who was at the game Friday. He said, wow, I picked the right game to go to, huh? At least he said he was happy he got the bobblehead. But other than that, not a great game to go to. All right, coming up next, an old person yells at clouds. You'll find out what I mean by that next.
Are you looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller for longer. There's also a variety of great flavors, including jalapeno lime, dill pickle, chili roasted, and smoky barbecue. You can also get lightly salted or unsalted if your taste buds aren't quite ready for those bold flavors yet. Now, personally, I'm a no-shells variety kind of guy. It's the perfect grab-and-go snack for my busy days. And whether I'm snacking at my desk, on a road trip, or just need a quick protein boost, they're always my go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are also a classic favorite. Whether you're running between meetings or dropping off the kids, Wonderful Pistachios are the snack that works as hard as you do. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more.
So we have a new way for you to leave questions for Fan Mail Friday on YouTube. If you go to our channel's page and you hit the post tab, you will see a post telling you when to, or what the deadline is for you to leave your questions for Fan Mail Friday. As we keep saying, you guys are doing a great job leaving questions for Fan Mail Friday. We really appreciate it.
Stacey, I do want to clarify something. I'm aware that Anthony Volpe played on Sunday at the end of the game. He came in for Dominguez because he pinch hit for Peraza in that spot. I know Volpe played, but they weren't planning on playing him. It was just the way the circumstance of the game worked out, and he only appeared in the field. So just wanted to clarify that.
Okay. So this is something that I have been wondering about since the season started, because I really started noticing it. I don't know about you, but when I watch a game, I'm noticing that they are pumping noise through the stadium literally between every single pitch of the game. And it is overbearingly loud. And if it's loud for me at home while I'm watching on TV, what is it like at the stadium hearing all this noise constantly?
It's obtrusive. I actually haven't been to a game this year yet, which is crazy to even think about that it's June and I haven't been yet, but that's besides the point. This has been a constant complaint for a lot of people this year, though, that it's every pitch, it's every inning, and they're trying to almost create a playoff volume atmosphere for games in June. Makes no sense.
Right. Like, I can understand this during the playoffs, but I don't understand it during the regular season. I know season ticket holders now who bring earplugs to the game. Some beat writers bring earplugs to the game because the sound is pumped in behind home plate and by the third and first base dugouts. So basically that whole half of the stadium is just noise. So I can't even imagine how unbearable it is. So who is this for exactly? Well, Bob Klapisch published an article about 3 weeks ago that I didn't see until Sunday. Someone put it up on Blue Sky because people I know who were complaining about the noise level were like, where is this coming from? And someone found this article that Klapisch published 3 weeks ago on NewJersey.com. The title of it is, yes, it's much louder inside Yankee Stadium. Here's what Aaron Judge teammates say. Apparently, the Yankees don't think it's loud enough. They would like the noise to be even more, which is, I don't understand why. And I don't, here's the quote from Jason Zillow that drives me crazy. Okay, so Jason Zillow was talking about it. They got a new sound system put in 2023. And this is what the vice president of communications and public relations for the New York Yankees said. We're trying to meet our young fans where they are. There's an elaborate speaker system set up in the ballpark. We didn't install it to play Phil Collins' elevator music. First of all, Phil Collins is an elevator music, Jason, and you know that because you're close to my age. All right, Genesis? No. Phil Collins? No. It's not elevator music. Give me a break. Second of all, there has to be a different way to get the youth involved in baseball besides pumping manufactured noise into the air every 5 seconds.
No child is coming to a game because they're hearing noise throughout the like, once they're already in the building, they're already in the building. Right. Find ways to interest them in the game other than making loud noise 24/7. It makes absolutely no sense. I don't get that at all. Also, baseball is not football. They're different sports. It's not basketball.
It's also not basketball. Aaron Boone mentioned the NBA in the article. He's like, oh, MLB is catching up to NBA with the sounds in the stadium. And I think to myself, sports. I don't want that during an NBA game either because it annoys me then. There's too different much noise sports, there.
And that's okay. Do you know what I mean? Like baseball is its own thing. It's its own niche, and that's okay. It doesn't need to be basketball. It doesn't need to be football. Football, the games are loud and the stadium is loud and everything, but that's what football has. Baseball is not that. And I don't understand. People go to baseball games. There's 81 home games per year.
Right. People
go to baseball games on a hot July day because they want to sit there and socialize with their friends and have a few drinks and a hot dog and just enjoy themselves. And yes, they could be passionate Yankee fans too, but baseball is an enjoyment, relaxation thing. You don't necessarily want to be there in the 5th inning when they're playing Kansas City on a steamy July day and here pour some sugar on me for 13 seconds in between a pitch at 100 decibel volume. No one needs that. No one wants that. I think they've completely missed the ball on what they think people want at a game.
Yeah. So this also from the article. During the recent Subway series, the decibel levels at the stadium routinely reached in the mid-90s, which is an audiologist's danger zone. At 90 decibels and above is where human damage begins. This is from a bioacoustic expert named Bernie Krause. Now, they're saying that your glucocorticoid enzyme levels shoot up at those levels, and your heart rate speeds up when the noise is that loud. It's a deliberate concentration of acoustic energy to promote the illusion of action. So they're pumping all that noise in to make you think that something's actually happening when it's not happening, while raising your heart rate. Who wants to be panicked and deaf at a baseball game? I don't.
You also don't need to raise the attention and everything like that. Playoff games routinely go over 100 decibel level in Yankee Stadium.
Yep.
And everybody's very attentive at the playoff games. Everybody's paying attention to every pitch. And also everybody's nervous and erratic at a playoff game. Yeah. You don't need to raise the volume to get us to focus when the games are. Like the advantage Yankee Stadium has in the month of October is the noise, is the fans being so concentrated, is the trash talk, is all of it. All that goes into it. Yankee fans are able to create their own noise in October. Trust me, they routinely get it to over 100 decibels. We don't need the speakers to be, loud, specifically loud, or to playing noise during every pitch. I haven't personally seen this yet because I haven't been to a game at this year, and I'm sure at some point I will, but I'm already not going to be a fan of this, and I've noticed it on the television all the time. It's annoying, and I'll flat out say that's the word I want to use. It's annoying. No one needs this.
I will say this too, as someone who has noise sensitivity issues, it's too much for some of us to deal with noises like this. I've had this since I was a kid. It's part of my ADHD and other neurodivergent issues that I have with my brain. When I go to concerts, I use earplugs sometimes because it's just too much for my ears to handle, even though I like listening to live music. And I almost don't want to go to the stadium this season because of this. I will be overstimulated, and it'll make me miserable.
This is not what gets children to watch baseball. I think that's a complete miscalculation if that's what you think.
Right. All right, coming up, we'll preview the pitching matchups in the series between the Yankees and the Reds. Yankees are traveling to Cincinnati. That should be fun. And we'll take a look around the league next.
Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action, so why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get in on the game with all your friends are getting sunburnt at the beach. Now, I've been using FanDuel to track my favorite matchups, and the app keeps it fresh with daily promotions and fun ways to bet on the games. It's also very easy to use. There's fast ways to get you paid out. It makes every regular season game feel like a must-watch event. Whether I'm placing a same-game parlay or watching a bet right into the ninth inning, FanDuel makes it feel like I'm part of the action, and that's the best part. Are you new to FanDuel? New customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today and visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. And guys, not only do we cover your team every day, but now we're giving you instant episodes after every single game. You can check out the Locked On Yankees postcast. It's hosted by Jay Berman right here on the Locked On Yankees podcast feed, as well as it streams on our YouTube channel. You can get rapid reaction to all the biggest moments with the Locked On Yankees postcast. Stacey, Yankees Reds, fun series, but also a lot of interesting things happening throughout this series. Guys making major league debuts, top tier prospects coming in. So this should be a really fun one, right?
Let's hope so, because the Yankees have had struggles against the Reds in recent years.
For sure. Fun team, though. You get to see Ellie De La Cruz. You get to see one of the top tier prospects in all of baseball make his debut. So that'll be a lot of fun. Monday's game will be on. Yes, it'll be a 7-10 game. But the Yankees, because Ryan Yarbrough hit the 15-day IL, it was going to be there with it's an oblique strain, which generally, from our experience, now it's retroactive back to the 20th, but from our experience, obliques are not short-term injuries. So this could be 15-day IL for precautionary reasons, but not necessarily 15 days. Right. So we'll see what that could be a troubling injury for the Yankees. Who they do call up is interesting, though. They call up Alan Winans, who makes his Yankee debut. Now, he's appeared before for the Atlanta Braves in 2022 and 2024. He's got 8 career starts. He's 1-4 with a 7.20 ERA in those games. What's interesting is for the Scranton Rail Riders this year, Stacey, he's 7-0 with a .90 ERA throughout his starts with Scranton. He's also got a 10.9 Ks per 9 this year, which the Yankees are in love with that kind of stuff. Really interesting because he's had great success with the Rail Riders. Doesn't always necessarily translate over to the major league level, but it'll be really interesting to see what he can do at this level because he's getting his 3rd crack at the major leagues.
Yeah, it's interesting for someone to be making their Yankees debut in this series, but with the injuries and, Stroman's still not back where he would probably do this start and Yarbrough on the IL. We'll see how he does. You never know. He could
Not great for Stroman not being able to make his way back at this point, though, because this would have been his start, like you're saying. But it'll be Alan Winans who gets his 3rd crack at the major leagues in this game. He'll face Nick Lodolo. He's 5-5 with a 3.71 ERA, which is prime Cincinnati Reds, who can just never seem to get on one of those streaks. They're always up and then down and then up and then down. They're back and forth constantly. So 5-5 with a 3.71 is a prime Cincinnati Reds stat line for you. Now, Tuesday, also a very interesting game for the Yankees. That'll also be a 7-10 start. Carlos Rodon will go for the Yankees, 9-5 with a 3.10 ERA. Now, he'll go up against Chase Burns, who will be making his major league debut. And Stacey, listen to this on Burns. He was the top high school prospect in all of baseball coming out just 2 years ago. He went to Tennessee and Wake Forest for a year, and then he went 2nd overall in the 2024 Major League Baseball draft. So, very unbelievable numbers that he's had. He's 7-3 with a 1.77 ERA in AA Chattanooga and AAA Louisville just this year. So he's had tremendous numbers, went 2nd overall in the draft. We've discussed this a little bit, but baseball is starting to go more towards the trend that other sports go to, where young prospects that are taken early on in the draft are flying through the minor leagues and really getting to debut pretty quick. Yeah. To only appear in 10 games in the minor leagues between AA and AAA at this point and get called up this early on the season, this is not commonplace for young players in baseball because 2-3 years ago even, he would have pitched the whole year in AAA. They would have seen what his numbers are, and then maybe he would have started next year or 2026 season. What would have happened is he would have went the first 15 days being in the minor leagues. They would have bought the extra year of service time, and then he would have debuted about 3 weeks into the season. That's what would have happened 2 years ago. Now he's debuting, and they're calling him right up in the middle of June to jump into their season. Pretty interesting and pretty cool to see the Yankees face one of the top prospects in all of baseball.
We'll see if it's cool and interesting when the Yankees are trying to hit against him.
Well, I mean, I find it interesting whether the Yankees hit or not. I'm sure they won't, but it is very interesting to watch. Yeah, I love seeing young players make their debuts, especially when they're top touted guys.
And you said he was the top prospect in baseball out of high school, which wasn't too long ago. So he is a young kid.
Yeah, he was in high school a few years ago. So
and against the Yankees in his first major league game, there's got to be a little bit of nerve.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Happening there for that poor kid.
Plus goes to Tennessee and Wake Forest that are two of the top college baseball programs in all of baseball, has dominant numbers there, goes second overall in the draft, and flies through the minor leagues. Starts in AA, and then go straight to AAA after a couple of starts. To have a under 2 ERA in that is just, it's incredible. So it'll be really fun to see. And then Wednesday's game, it'll be your classic Prime Video Wednesday game, 7-10. Max Fried, 9-2 with a 2.05. First time his ERA has been over 2 to start a game this year. And he'll go up against Brady Singer, who's 7-5 with a 4.13 ERA. Now, some of the news around the league, Stacey. The Mets sent Francisco Alvarez down to AAA. He's been terrible all year, really struggled. The former Yankee, Terrence, has been better than him all year. So this is a big move for the Mets. By the way, a guy in Francisco Alvarez who got a 7-year contract extension offered to him by the Mets 2 years ago, turned it down, thinking he'd be a superstar and get a bigger deal. I bet he's really regretting that right now.
Isn't that always the way?
Yeah, for sure. Now, did you feel the heat this weekend you felt it, I'm sure, in the New York area, but did you feel it across the country?
Did I? Can you see how shiny my face is right now?
Yeah, they felt it in Cincinnati also, because Ellie De La Cruz came into the game, was playing in the game, and on the field Saturday actually threw up due to the heat on the field in the middle of the inning. They took him out of the game. They didn't take him out of the game. He went to the dugout, rehydrated while they cleaned the field up. And what's funny is Terry Francona said after the game that he actually watched De La Cruz drink water the inning before he went out there, drink a lot of water, and then still got sick. Francona did say that he went on the field and got rid of it all. And then in Ellie De La Cruz fashion, he actually came back. He stayed in the game. And in the 7th inning, hit a 2-run homer. So very apropos to how great of a player he is.
He drank it too fast is basically what happened.
Probably, yeah. There was
like much too fast, because you could do that with water. I mean, people.
Yeah, it is weird. It is weird. The heat would be a problem because he's from the DR, so like he's dealt with heat before, and I'm sure he's played baseball in crazy heat before, but it's been hot across the entire country. So definitely make sure you hydrate, not too quickly though. Yeah. If you're out there. And also in other baseball news, this is a really bad one for the Atlanta Braves. Chris Sale goes on the IL with a fractured rib cage. So that sounds unbelievably painful. And for the Braves, who just swept the Mets and are really trying to get their season going after a terrible start, that is as bad as possible of an injury to see.
Yeah, you never want to see that.
No,
not with your
ace. Won the Cy Young last year.
I was just going to say reigning Cy Young award winner.
Yeah, that's a huge problem for them. So, I mean, we'll see if they can still keep their season alive, but that's a devastating injury.
So to recap, Yankees win 2 out of 3 against the Orioles. Hallelujah. We didn't have to yell at them in segment 1. That was nice.
They tried to lose Sunday, though.
They really did.
Boy,
they really did. What's the other thing we spoke about? Oh, yes. It's too darn loud in Yankee Stadium. They need to stop with the canned noise during the season. During the playoffs, fine. It's fine because you want the crowd to be pumped up during the playoffs. But in the middle of June, in a hot day, or like during a hot day in July where you just want to relax and watch a baseball game, you don't need all that noise.
In the middle of June at an 11:35 a.m. Roku start, we're good.
It's fine. We don't need to do that. And then the Yankees are in Cincinnati for 3 games. Obviously, we'll have everything you need to know about those games coming up this week. We have Fan Mail Friday at the end of the week. Get those questions in. Oh, no, not down below anymore. That's right. Go to the post tab on our channels page. I will give you the deadline. It's probably Thursday at 5. That's usually what it is. It just makes life easier. And insiders get those questions in when you can. So thank you for making Locked On Yankees your first listen. For your second listen, check out the all-new Locked On MLB Game Night. Every game, every night, all season long, you get local analysis on a national scale. You can find MLB Game Night on Locked On MLB on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. So that'll do it for this edition of Locked On Yankees. I'm Stacey Gotsulias.
And I'm Brian McKeon. We'll catch you guys tomorrow.